So the question is a little unconventional. It is asking, in evaluating the above proposal, okay, so there is some proposal in the paragraph, all right. A person concerned about the misuse of confidential information, okay, misuse of confidential information, someone is concerned about that. That person would be most interested in having the author clarify the meaning of which of the following phrases. Okay, so there is some proposal here. Okay, there's a guy who wants to understand something about the misuse of confidential information, and for that he needs the author to clarify the meaning of one term. Okay, so basically as we are reading this paragraph, we should be looking at a term, right, a phrase that would be helpful in clarifying the misuse of confidential information. Some unclear term about the misuse of confidential information is given, we need to identify that. Okay. Now, once we have that clarity, it's going to be so much easier for us to understand it. And there are these bold terms that we'll focus more attention on as we are reading. Okay. So with that strategy, let's read the proposal. As part of our program to halt the influx of illegal immigrants, okay, the government doesn't want illegal immigrants. All right, the administration is proposing the creation of a national identity card. That's a good idea. The card would be available only to US citizens and registered aliens, okay, and all persons, okay, this is the first term, right, all persons would be required to produce the card before they could be given a job. Okay, is this meaning reasonably clear in the context? All persons would be required to produce this card. I think all person means all persons, right? I don't think there's anything unclear in terms of misuse of confidential information. Okay, so this probably is not going to be the answer. Let's move on. Okay, of course, such a system holds the potential, however slight, for the abuse of civil liberties. Okay, now there are two terms here. Civil liberties, I think that is again very clear what liberties that you take as a citizen. Okay, again, those another way to look at this is civil liberties are not exactly aligned with the misuse of confidential information. Okay, okay. However slight, that again is pretty clear that yes, there is some potential. I don't know how much, but there is some potential for abuse. Okay, so that meaning is pretty clear. Also, that meaning, I mean, this term, however slight, is not related to the misuse of confidential information. Okay, so I don't think any of these answers are there. Okay, let's move on. Therefore, all personal information gathered through the system would be held strictly confidential, to be released only by authorized personnel, some government personnel authorized under appropriate circumstances. Okay. Now, what is this appropriate circumstances? What are appropriate circumstances? Job related circumstances, maybe some criminal activity related circumstances, maybe some social circumstances. I don't know. So there is little bit of subjectivity in this. There needs to be some clarification. Okay. Also, is this related to misuse of confidential information? Yes, in the sense that if the circumstances are considered appropriate, okay, then the authorized personnel would have access to that information, the whatever information they have in the national ID card. Okay, in some quote unquote inappropriate circumstances, the personal, the government authority may not have access to that. Okay, so what are those circumstances where people have access to your information? What are the circumstances in which people don't have access to your information? That is not very clear. That is why a person who would like, who's slightly concerned about misuse of his confidential information, that person would like the author to clarify what are appropriate circumstances, what are not appropriate circumstances. Okay, so this is a very strong contender. Again, any of these other ones don't even stand close uh, to any subjectivity that require clarification. Okay, let's move on. Those who are in compliance with US laws, US laws are US laws. Okay, I don't think there's anything unclear here. US laws would have nothing to fear from the identity card system. Okay. So, slightly different question. They are not asking about the typical question types like strength, weaken, assumption, inference, whatever, right? They are asking about uh, a term that requires clarification for a particular person. Okay, so that term would be appropriate circumstances because the other terms are fairly clear.